Cairo Time was the best Canadian feature at TIFF 2009. We're here today with the director of Cairo Time, Ruba Nadda. What was it like filming in Egypt?
It was a beast. It was very difficult. I mean, we were battling scorching weather. Like this, it was so hot. It was a high of 50 every day. And oftentimes the sun was melting our lenses, and we would get stuck in sandstorms, and sand would get into our cameras, and we would force to be stop and fix everything. And then the other problem was that Cairo is not Canada, and so here we have laws and order, and Cairo, it was just crazy and overwhelming and chaotic. And so our camera equipment got held up in customs for 2 weeks. Our film stock got lost, and then so it was a challenge trying to shoot a movie in a city that it's first of all, it's not third world country, but it's not as efficient as it is here. And the other problem was that we had a censorship woman from the government who was watching our every single move. And she also had to sign our reels before we were allowed to ship them back to Canada. And she had to provide a letter. And so it was crazy. And there's 20 million people in the city. So it's very, very busy. It's very, very loud. And so, we never had 100% control on our locations, because it was just, we just had to throw the actors in and go with it, basically.
Cairo is as much of a star as Patricia Clarkson or Alexander Siddig in the movie. I just want to ask, why Cairo?
Well, I think the thing about Cairo is that I've traveled everywhere around the world, and it's such a unique city. Like there's nothing like it. It's not as gentle as Morocco. It's a assault to the senses, and when you go and when you visit, you don't leave in one piece. It leaves its mark on you. It's got so much history that there's something about it that just forces you to slow down, whether you want to or not. And when it forces you to slow down, you kind of reevaluate yourself and where you are in the world, and forces you to, enjoy a cup of tea, basically.
Was it a challenge for you to make the movie as Canadian as possible?
Oh, no. I mean, the thing is that I'm Canadian. I have a Canadian passport. I was born in Canada. And, I felt that part of being Canadian is being allowed to reference where you come from. And, I'm the product of immigrant parents, and, I've lived in the Middle East. And so for me, I felt the story was very Canadian, and I felt that Juliette was very Canadian, because if she had been American, it would be completely different politics.
You had to jump through a lot of hoops to make this movie happen. Funding was dropped 2 weeks before your departure to Cairo. When you're hearing this from your producer, what was it like? What was going through your head?
Well, the thing is that because Egypt is so difficult to shoot, no one's ever been able to pull it off, because it's just you can't. It's very hard to get insurance. It's hard to get bonded. We'd heard stories of the English patient trying to go and shoot, and they couldn't. And so when the financing fell apart 2 weeks beforehand, it was devastating. But the thing is that everybody kept telling me, "Oh, could it be somewhere easier, like Morocco?" And I kept saying, "No, it has to be Cairo." Like the location was integral to the story, and so I knew that it was going to be difficult. But that was part of the movie as well.
I heard you say in one of your interviews that if Cairo Time had fallen apart, you would have left the business of movie making for good. When you look back at that, how do you feel now?
Vindicated, actually. I mean, sometimes in life you have to make stands, and you have to be passionate and behind something. And I was. And it was successful in the end. And I have that as that accomplishment. And so we really did shoot in one of the most difficult locations in the world, and we pulled it off. So I feel like I can pull off anything now.
And what's next for you, for Ruba Nadda?
Well, I'm working on 3 movies. One is I'm doing next. It's set in Damascus, and it's a political thriller, fast-paced political thriller, opposite of Cairo Time.
And I really like the fact that you're filming in the Middle East, in Damascus and Cairo. It just helps to get a different perspective from an Arab. What do you think of the representation of Arabs in Western media these days?
In Western media, it's funny because there's such a mis-stereotype of who Arabs are, what they look like, what they, who they are. And I think it's, people are always surprised that I'm Arab. And I think it's just, there's an ingrained kind of racism happening. And I think, my job is to be the artist that is true to me. And so I'm trying to make that better, but I'm also trying to tell great stories. So I'm trying to do both if I can.
Thank you very much for your time, Ruba. And to everybody watching, Cairo Time is out on DVD right now. Go out and buy it, watch it. Thank you.